Alright, we're going to do a little update on the garden and orchard and homestead here. Usually do this around June. Here's some supplies, came from Agway. Honesdale Agway, what a great place to get your supplies. Mark and his staff are just wonderful. Garden's looking pretty good. Had some challenges, late frost, lots of heavy heat in May. Now we're kind of back to normal. And of course we're working on firewood too. And a tree fell on my blueberry bushes, and this is what it did to some of the fencing. Some of it I repaired, but came down in the storm on last Wednesday. Snapped about 30 feet up from the ground and just landed. I cut up most of what was on the pile. Came right up on my sand mound, but you can see up there is a, if you look, you can see it snapped off. I think you can. Anyway, got some fruit trees in the back, plum, apple, peach. They all blossomed quite well this year. Of course, we got some soldiers ready to go in the ground, but we're still doing a little every day. Doing a lot of pots this year, filling them with regenerated potting soil from last year that was composted with leaves. I do that down at the lake, and my dad blows the leaves over them. It's really good. And then I add, of course, bone meal, Agway organic garden food, black cow, peat moss, and also some magnesium. Works really well. So if you can see, all these little planters had seedlings in them starting in February and then ongoing. Carrots in the pots are starting to come up. Planted marigolds this spring and at the end of April, and they're starting to blossom now, which will help bring the bees in. Got some basil here. Here's more of these. These were all full. A lot of them I gave away. Some of them I gave away. And I get a lot of help here too. I'll tell you, it's more than just Agway where I purchase my stuff, but a lot of friends. It's not Self-Sufficiency. We had a real cold night, so these eggplants, they don't do well when the temperature changes really drastically when the sun comes up, but they'll adjust and suck some water up, keep them really moist. Water in the bottom of in those plates that capture at the bottom. I put a lot of water in there. Got some nice peppers coming in pots this year and some out in the garden. So anyway, it's all my supporters from getting horse manure from Beverly Beers, and a lot of help from Bonnie and Jack, especially with firewood. And Jim and Pat Sanders helped me out with some plants this year, and they're always doing. I just transplanted these last night, these eggplants, and they're needing some more water. I might have to cover them with some cloth, help them get revitalized. Cabbages went in early this year. Bugs got a few of them early on, and then I had to replant. But for instance, this one over here was, this one here was almost completely eaten up by bugs, and now it's coming back. So I'll pick that kale and lettuce, give it some more room. Peas are doing really well now. I got turnips, radishes, and peas. A lot of squash this year, winter squash, because I ended up eating some that Jim and Pat gave me in February because I ran out. So this year I'm not going to run out. Pole beans, we're going to do some trellising for cukes, squash, and beans this year and grow up. So I got to build a trellis for these cukes. I got some time. They're just starting to grow, so probably do that this week. And they'll all trellis up and over and back down to the ground. More cabbages. Once I get good heads here, they'll go into the crisper root cellar, and then I got others that I'll put in, get a second crop. Peas are coming out after a couple more days of picking peas, but really good stuff when you pick them early. They're so sweet, and I just like to munch on them. I'm out here working. Broccoli. Tomatoes are looking really good so far. It's the best time before it gets too hot and the fungus comes around and the bugs. These are Sanders squash I got from Jim and Pat. The seeds, they gave me some squash 2 years ago, and I grew them last year and saved the seeds. Saved the seeds the first year, grew them again last year. I got some nice tomatoes from Sue, Jack Bircher's sister, Sue. She has a small greenhouse, and she gave me broccoli, cabbage, some really cool stuff. This is radish. They get rather big. I usually eat them when they're a lot smaller, and I cook the greens. Got a lot of spinach this year. So it's not self-sufficiency when you get a lot of help from other people, but it's nice to grow your own food. And then I have eggs from my chickens. Donna and Judy, primarily Donna Gregor, has helped me out with the chickens. This is like their third summer, and they're producing 5 to 7 eggs a day, and I eat about 3 or 4, and I share the rest with family and friends. So that was a little tour of the garden. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you're doing well during this crazy time, pandemic, and I hope you can do a little growing yourself. Bye.